This is a beautiful thing. There is nothing as satisfying as being at peace with yourself and the decisions that you would have made. However, regrets have a way of snatching that peace right from under you, thus breeding a life of torment and suffering. Regrets usually seep in when we go over our lives or even just our day, and we begin to analyze the decisions that we should have made. Then we realize that some may not have been the best decisions, and some decisions would have been made a while back and years have gone by, but that gnawing feeling just won't leave you alone. I should, shouldn't have not, I would, could have, all these nouns and pronouns and all these verbs and all, you know what I'm talking about. The statement we all say to ourselves sometimes, and that steals our joy and peace. So, to live a peaceful life, regrets must be done away with. It's not an easy process, but it is one that can be done. Here are a few tips that'll help you jumpstart your letting go of regrets. For the best strategies and tips on finally living the life of your dreams with the least resistance through making the right tweaks to your mindset and daily habits, please be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to get my latest uploads every week. Let's start with tip number one: make amends. We all say things we do not mean or do things we should not at some point or another, right? However, there is a chance to make amends for the things that you regret. This is the simplest way to get rid of regret. We have been there, whereas a parent, for example, you yell at your child unnecessarily and the guilt and regret starts to eat at you. See, the best way out of the situation is to make amends. Making amends allows you to see things from the other person's perspective. Remember that you can be forgiven, and other times, yeah, you may not be forgiven. But the fact that you owned up to your mistake and made an effort to make amends will bring you peace of mind. Tip number two: regret can come from missed opportunities. Regret is not only in how we treat other people, but also in the opportunities that we let go of. Let's say you're offered an opportunity, but because at the moment your insecurities got the best of you, your thinking went on overdrive, and that moment just didn't seem right for you, or just you thought your life was getting in the way of it. Now you're stuck and regretting not taking the chance. Call up that person, email that company or organization, and make amends. You may get a second chance. The challenge most of us face is that we shy away from making amends because it is embarrassing or that it seems like we are begging and it's somewhat beneath us in a way. We get in our ego a little bit. Shh, we ain't gonna talk about that. Anyway, this is the reason regrets go on for so long, simply because we will not choose to try and make amends while the situation is permitting for the sake of peace. Tip number three: leave regret in the past. The past belongs in the past, but the future is yours to have. Making amends is great, but only when the situation permits it. Some situations are either too far gone or there's no way to right make it right, no matter what efforts are put into trying to making them right. The best way to get peace and get rid of regrets is to leave the past where it belongs. You know where? Yep, we all do. In the past, of course. Make an effort to move on with your life the best way you know how. Ifa usually says, or always says, that's the right way to say it. When you don't know what to do in a situation, the best thing to do is to do the next logical thing. Look for other opportunities, meet other people, and work on those things. Rehashing the past will not in any way change it. It will just frustrate you more. Thus, it is better to leave things as they are and forge a new path going forward. Tip number four: give yourself a chance. Regrets are usually a thing of the past. The best way to let them go is to focus on the here and the now. Living in the present means actively living out your best life despite the things that would have happened in the past. Being at peace or choosing peace does not mean that you do not feel bad enough if it concerns something that you did and regret. Choosing peace means you are willing to give yourself another chance at life and not allowing what you did to steal your joy. Now, this doesn't negate that you feel awful about your actions or don't feel awful about your actions. Sorry. It doesn't mean that you do not seek forgiveness. It means that you can still feel awful and seek forgiveness and that you desire a life without regrets. This is a good example on today's topic through the Odu of the reverse head, Owen Rimeji, where Ifa speaks about we look to the past to learn from our mistakes and grow, to evolve. We don't look to the past to just sit there and stay stuck. Okay, we have to move forward and forgive ourselves first in order to forgive others. Tip number 5, change the way you think. If you cannot change something, change how you perceive it, how you think about it. More often than not, the way we remember things is not always how things would have played out. We remember things according to the emotions we feel. And that's a key thing. Let me repeat that. The majority of us remember and are stuck in the past through old triggers. This creates what Ifa calls um, elenini or elenini, self-created demons and triggers and certain isms. It's the emotions that we haven't worked through and released properly. That's that chain that links us to that past because you're living it in your head. That's why in Ikame, the controller, Ifa says, the biggest ebo ritual you can do is to change the way that you think, speak, and act. Because if you're thinking something, guess what? You're sending out that signal to the universe. You're sending out that vibration out in the atmosphere, no matter if you said anything outwardly through your mouth or not. And guess what? You're attracting it. You will attract more of it, directly or indirectly. So it is the emotions that really need to get worked through and released in order for you to release the past. That way you can extract the wisdom. Now you know what not to do. Now you know what not to say moving forward. Now you know what to look for in order to prevent yourself from making certain missteps. It's okay to make missteps. We just don't want to make the same mistakes because that means you're not learning the lessons. That means you're not working through the emotions. And that's all there are. That's all they are. Energy in motion. So they don't stay stagnant because once they stay stagnant, then you become stagnant in your thinking, in your behavior, and also in your speech. Okay? So the way we see and view things, our belief system, and so many other social constructs come into play with them, right? Have you ever experienced a situation that gave you sleepless nights because of a rift with a person? Then you finally have a chance to speak to them to apologize, and they tell you that there's nothing to apologize for because they did not see the things or the situation the way that you perceived it. They didn't really take it to heart. They didn't really take it personally. Well, this is the same with regrets. You may beat yourself up for making certain decisions, yet it was not a big of a deal most of the time. Okay, got to put that disclaimer up. Thus, my encouragement to push you to change how you perceive and think about things. Instead of beating yourself up for being human, why not choose to think of yourself in a more kind and forgiving manner? So, to wrap it up, here are some of the main takeaways on today's topic. Number 1, make amends. Making amends allows you to see the situation from the other person's perspective. Number 2, give yourself a chance. The best way to let go of regret is to focus on the here and the now. Choosing peace means you are willing to give yourself another chance at life and not allowing what you did to steal your joy. Number 3, change the way you think. If you cannot change something, change how you think about it, how you perceive it. Don't forget that we view life through our own lens, which is colored by our upbringing, cultural traditions, our emotions, social influences, our triggers, and so much more things come into play. So, look for the silver lining in the dark cloud. Understand that everything, whether good or bad, happens for a reason. If you saw things differently, the outcome may surprise you. In closing, peace is good for the soul. We all deserve to live a peaceful life. Part of being human is that we will all make mistakes at one point or another, but punishing yourself by carrying the burden of regret doesn't help any situation. If there is a chance to make a recompense, by all means, please do so. If not, choose to move forward with your life without the burden of regret. Being regretful is not synonymous with being sorry for your actions or lack thereof. It's a burden that you can put down and still be very remorseful about your actions. So, do what you can to get rid of regrets and get some peace. So, now that you've gotten some new tools under your belt, are you ready to apply what you just learned? I pray and hope so. By the way, I've created a workbook to go along with today's subject to help you get a jump start on creating and implementing real lasting change. You can find your free copy in the description box below. If you need more help, hey, you know where you can find me, themoralcompass.com. That's where I'll be, right? Where I'll provide more tips and tricks to help you on your personal journey. Also, if you're new here, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. I would love to have you a part of the family, and I'll catch you in the next video. Stay blessed, my loves.